We Geek podcast. Today is Wednesday, June 22nd. My name is Adam, joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello.
What up? And man, what a week it's been.
Right?
Yeah, we got some movie news to talk about. I don't think we got into Warcraft the last few weeks, so we'll talk about that. There has been a lot of great television.
Yeah, there is.
Even though there's nothing really on, but what was on is, was worth its weight in gold. It was really good. Good week of television. And some sad news too.
Yeah, can we go back to weeks where we don't have to do this at the start of the show? I hate this.
Right.
Anton Yelchin, who played the new Chekhov, who was great, and I hadn't seen much of him outside of Star Trek, but hearing from everyone else, seeing the community that kind of rallied around him, all these other actors who kind of kept saying, "Man, you have no idea how much this guy could do and how much talent he had," and it bums me out. Apparently, there was this kind of bizarre freak accident at his house.
Yeah.
And it killed him, and he was what, 27, I think, right?
Yeah. I didn't believe it when I first saw it. I thought this has got to be not real, and then I saw all the major, news sources reporting it, and I just thought,
because my thing was like, it said he dies in freak accident, and then the other thing said dies in car crash. I was like, well, then hang on, something isn't right here.
Right.
And then you find out, well, that was the freak accident. Oh, damn.
Yeah, apparently his vehicle is one of the ones that had a recall on it. Something to do with the brakes or something like that, and that's a whole.
It was the shifter.
The shifter, okay.
It didn't feel like it locked every time you put it in gear. Apparently.
Wow. Yeah. See, that is a huge problem.
Yeah.
Oh man. He was great too. Like, totally looking forward to him in Star Trek, and
it's gonna put a bit of a pall over Beyond now.
Oh yeah, totally, absolutely. I'm trying to think of the first thing I remember him in. I think it was Alpha Dog.
Okay, yeah.
Alpha Dog.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
Yeah, I liked that movie. He played, like, I think the little brother or something. It was a good movie, and oh man, just so sad. Yeah, such talent. But, well, there's really no way to transition.
I know.
It seems like we're saying that every week.
Right? Hate that.
Yeah. But we got a lot of movie news to talk about, some TV news, video games, a little bit of video games, because we basically spent all of last week talking about them. Yeah, I haven't even really played that much. Pretty much just, I'm so glad I have Overwatch, just because it's the game I can pop in for 20 minutes, turn my PlayStation off, and go about my business. But yeah, it's I haven't played much outside of that. You know what I really wanted to start playing though? The WWE 2K16, but I know 2K17 is right around the corner, right?
Yeah, it's in 2 months, I think, comes out in August.
Yeah. So I know it's on sale right now for like $30, but I'd rather save and get the new one.
Save your pennies. It's cheaper at GameStop, I think.
If it's like $20,
it may. Yeah, I'll do a little checking on that, just because I was up there not that long ago. I had enough Power Up Rewards points. I had a $15 pre-owned coupon, so I picked up Elder Scrolls Online for $2.
Oh, nice! We should play that.
Yeah, It took all day to download the update for it though, because it was like a 30 gig. Update.
Yeah.
Holy
It's
crap!
Huge. The amount. That game's so great, especially if you got it for $2. That's such a deal because there's so much content. It is insane how much content's in that game. Yeah, I'll definitely play some of that with you. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, I'd totally spend $20 on the 2K16, but I was like, 30 is just not worth it when it comes out in a few months.
Yeah, when 17's just around the corner.
Right, didn't make much sense. I did see some rumors that the WWE is trying to get Goldberg to come back to be in either SmackDown or Raw.
They're trying to get a lot of old talent to come back.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. That'd be, It'd be interesting to see how they. That would be one of the cool like moments on Thursday night or Tuesday night where they're calling names and suddenly his name is drawn and you're like, what?
Yeah, and it would be kind of a coup because Goldberg and Vince do not mix.
Right.
They cannot stand each other.
Apparently, he's not a big part of the process anymore. I did read that he sold some stock and.
Well, but I mean, he's
right,
that's
right.
It's still, regardless of what the structure looks like, as long as there is a Vince McMahon, it's going to be his company.
Right. Yeah. No doubt.
So I mean but I mean it's always been kind of in flux. Who really is at the top of the food chain? Is it, or rather, who's got more influence? Is it him? Is it Hunter? Is it Cena? I mean, there've been, depending on who you read and what you choose to believe, there's been any number of different de facto heads of creative over there. So
right. Well, whoever was in charge of creative over the weekend was doing a great job.
Oh, are you kidding? That was yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, that was good. But man, let's get into some movie news. Go ahead and take the first one here.
Yeah, so Spider-Man: Homecoming cast its film this week.
Yeah.
They basically added everybody.
Yeah.
We got, but nobody was like confirmed for any roles. It's just people they added. They got Martin Starr, they got Logan Marshall Green, they got Abraham Atta, and Hannibal Buress.
Right. And the Abraham one, that's the one that's got me thinking Miles.
He's the right age.
Right. That's what most news sources are assuming. It would be, yeah. I'm looking at it right now, and that would be perfect.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Have him just as a tease. Doesn't have to be any. He doesn't have to, just a tease. Kid lives down the street or something.
Or Mr. Morales, you're late. Sorry.
Right.
And he takes a seat. Like, that's it. It's just like, oh my god.
Or he's tutoring him or something. Like, it would totally work. It
right?
would, or that would be perfect. So, God, I can't wait. This movie's really coming together, and I mean, Martin Starr. I wonder what he's gonna be.
I don't know. I don't know what any of these people are gonna be. Like, I'm curious who Hannibal Buress is gonna play.
yeah, for sure.
I mean, he could be Robbie.
Yeah, that's true.
He could do a good Robbie Robertson. That would work.
Yeah. No, totally. Man, this film's really coming along. I can't wait. Let's see what else we got here. We got a lot of DC stuff. There's some Batman Superman news. Ultimate Edition releases the film. Apparently, it's going to be either 100 gigabytes or more. It's going to be the biggest Blu-ray release of all time. Triple layer, I guess. 4K Blu-ray. Just too much.
This is a bad idea because this is a movie that is not going to sell a ton of copies on regular Blu-ray.
Yeah.
It's not going to do what they want. Will it sell fine? Yes. Will it sell what they expect it to? Absolutely not.
No.
If they did this with any of the Marvel films, like if they decided to do this with Civil War, then absolutely it would be a smash, and it would send the idea of high density Blu-ray, all this 4K stuff, like all this is over my head anyway, and I don't care because I've got like a 19-inch TV. But just the idea of like you have to pick a better launch project.
Thing. The movie isn't 100 gigabytes, right? It's basically saying we're putting all 100 gigabytes on one disc, right? Is that what they're saying?
They're saying because of the movie and the extended cut and the extras and the 4K. 4K resolution makes these files ridiculously huge.
But see, don't most Blu-ray sets give you a few different discs in the set? Like, wouldn't it make sense to have the Blu-ray on, the extended cut on one disc, the regular cut on one disc, and the special features on one disc?
Well,
so you don't have to put it all, or is it so they can put that headline out? We have the most on a Blu-ray disc.
I think it's partly for that. Usually when you get multiple sets, it's because they have to be formatted differently. Like one is Blu-ray and then one is the 3D version. Like you can't have them on the same disc, I don't think.
Right, that makes sense.
So they're I think this is just their way of saying, hey, we took all of everything. It's the 4K is the big thing. Making that kind of resolution makes these files gigantic.
Yeah, and I mean this is gonna be. I see the people who loved Batman vs. Because you either really liked it or you just didn't.
Yeah.
There was no middle ground. I don't know anyone that was like, it was okay. Most people were just like, no, it wasn't for me, or they really liked it and they felt they had to defend it.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I mean, if it's your movie, 100 gigabytes sounds awesome. If that, like for example, the way I think about it, if they did that with Star Wars and they were like, there's 100 gigabytes worth of stuff in here, and most of that is like extra, behind the scenes stuff, I would gobble that shit up.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, but it's weird if you were like, we've stretched the movie out to be this 4 or 5 hour thing. It might feel way too much. Sometimes even the Lord of the Rings films, it was like, wait, we're only halfway through. Even though those were, that's not a good example because those were actually really fucking good, so it didn't matter. Yeah, see, I thought that was one of the biggest problems with Batman vs Superman. It didn't need an extended cut. It needed tighter scenes. It needed to be shorter. And yeah, even more stuff might explain some things a little bit better, or motivations and stuff like that. But I don't know. That's definitely not for me. I doubt I'll watch that movie again maybe if it's on TV one time and I'm flipping through the channel and there's nothing else on.
Right.
I might be like, oh, let's see him fight again or something, but I don't see myself diving into it like I did with Nolan's films or or I mean, I don't even really watch the Marvel films all that much. Guardians every once in a while, Captain America sure, but that's about it.
And I think this is going to be like all the analysts are going to come out and say, "Oh, this new high density Blu-ray thing, it doesn't work." I'm like, it's not the format's fault. It's because they picked the wrong product to launch it on.
Right. You do this with Star Wars, it'll sell.
Or you do it with Civil War.
Right, or Civil War.
Like
exactly.
something that people actually liked.
Yeah. But see, that's the other side of the problem is you do it with Star Wars, you do it with Civil War, it's gonna sell no matter what, and then they do it on everything. Suddenly you have Cat in the Hat 2, 100 gigabytes of data or whatever. That might be a bad thing too. So it's weird. It's really odd, but I agree. You do it on the better films so that it will sell, so that we can get a lot of extended stuff and whatnot. So yeah. Because, man, I would love, at the end of the day, when Game of Thrones is done, I want the full box set, all the seasons, whatever. By then it's going to be 5, 6, I don't know, whatever, K. Big box set with all the discs and the codes to download them digitally. That's one I'll buy. I want to eventually get the Lost one. I'm kind of waiting for them to do, like, a new set, you know what I mean?
Well, it's got to be coming up on an anniversary soon, isn't it?
They just did their 10 a few years ago, so yeah, once it probably gets to 15 or God, think about 20 years. Yeah, but eventually when it just when the series was done, I just wasn't I couldn't afford that. Like, it was a few years out of high school. No way I was thinking about buying a big Blu-ray box set, let alone, I could do a season or two, but that was about it.
Right.
I was like, nope, I gotta pay for stuff. But yeah, man, I'd love a box set of Lost and Game of Thrones. What about you? If you could get a box set of like the best quality, whatever show, what would it be? Star Trek Next Generation too. That would be pretty cool.
That one would be cool. I'd just off the top, I'd probably go with Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. Man, this week's episode, we'll get into it later. I could hand to somebody and go, this is what this show is about. It might be a misleading because
that would be really misleading because it took them a long time to get here.
It would be, but that would be the show you'd send into the Emmys.
Oh, totally. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's the show I'd send that into the fucking Oscars because that's how much talent they had in that shit. But you can't, of course.
It was a short film by itself. I don't see why not.
Man, it rivals film. I would argue that any day of the week especially that episode. I saw that they spent 20 days on that one scene alone.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, 20 fucking days. They said they spent almost half the time doing that than they did the entire season. Or I don't know, my timing's all wrong. I forgot what the quote was, but they spent a lot of time doing that one episode.
That doesn't sound entirely wrong. I could absolutely see that.
Right. Man, where were we? Okay, Batman vs Superman.
Things that disappoint us.
Right, exactly. They had Justice League. They had a big thing in London. Let me see if I can pull it up. Where Zack Snyder got a whole bunch of journalists together, and it was pretty much them saying, "We hear you. We understand, and this is what we're doing moving forward." They showed the logo. They talked about how this film is not going to be like the last two. That let me see. I want to get the exact quote. I can't. I don't know. I can't get the exact quote this second, but basically they came and saw them. They showed them, the new Batmobile. They showed the logo, and they showed a clip, and it was basically the Flash. Barry's in a warehouse, or Barry, he's running. He goes to his hideout. It's in a warehouse. It's got all these computers around it, and Batman's sitting in the seat. And let me see if I can find it here.
See if he can look it up. 'Cause I'm still, hey, Zack Snyder's in charge. I have no faith in this.
Right.
I'm sorry. As long as he's sitting in that director's chair, I got nothing for you.
Okay. Yeah, let me get the exact. Let me get the description right here. Okay. The scene. God.
Yeah, the logo was simple enough. It wasn't. I don't know. That was kind of underwhelming. If they're still trying to be hey, this is gonna be different. I'm like, really? Because your logo is just white on a black background.
Okay, so here's the dialogue, pretty much. Barry Allen goes, "You must be looking for a person who looks." Oh no, I'm sorry. Bruce Wayne says to Barry Allen, as if he's known him or whatever. And Barry Allen goes, "You must be looking for a person who looks exactly like me, but it's definitely not like me. Somebody, I don't know, hippie, long hair, very attractive Jewish boy." And then it says, Bruce shows him the camera's footage, which Barry's grabbing a milk at the store. And he goes, "Well, he drinks milk. I don't drink milk." And Bruce Wayne goes, "I know you have abilities. I just don't know what they are." And Barry Allen goes, "My special skills involve viola, web design, fluent in sign language, gorilla sign language." And Bruce Wayne goes, yeah, Bruce Wayne goes, "Silicon-based sand coarse fabric, abrasion resistant, heat resistant." Barry Allen goes, "Oh yeah, I do competitive ice dancing." Bruce Wayne says, "This used to be the space. This is used on the space shuttle to prevent them from burning up upon reentry." Barry Allen goes, "I do very competitive ice dancing." He goes, "Look, man, I know who you are, but whatever you're looking for, it's not me." Bruce then quickly throws a batarang at Barry as the environment goes into slow motion, except for him, who easily catches the batarang and makes the revelation that Bruce is Batman. And then Barry Allen goes, "You're the Batman." And Bruce Wayne goes, "You're fast." And he goes, "So you're fast." And Barry Allen goes, "That feels like an oversimplification." And Bruce Wayne goes, "I'm putting together a team of people with special abilities. You see, I think enemies are coming." And Barry Allen goes, "Stop right there. I'm in." And Bruce Wayne goes, "You are? Just like that?" Barry Allen goes, "Yeah, I need friends." And Bruce Wayne goes, "Great." Barry Allen goes, looking at the batarang, "Can I keep this?" And so it says, then it says Justice League has a November 17th, 2007 release date by Zack Snyder, yada, yada, yada. So, they showed that scene on purpose. And that's where all the articles I read, and I'm not quoting anyone, but they made it seem like Warner Brothers was telling them, "We get it, and I'm totally with you. I believe it when I see it. but apparently that was their way of saying, look, we get it. We're showing you some funny bits. Some of the articles that we're reading were saying that I lost my train of thought here. But oh man, yeah, I know it just completely went away. But they were trying to show that they wanted to put humor into the film, pretty much, and this was their way of doing that. That Barry Allen, that's what I was trying to think of. Barry Allen brings that to this series that it wasn't there before, because Batman's not going to be funny. Superman, he's not really funny. Barry Allen is, though. He can be. So that was their show of good, faith or whatever. I don't know, but we've talked so much about Batman versus Superman, Justice League. Let's move on. Actually, we got more news. Just kidding. Go ahead and take the next one.
Where are we here?
William Dafoe. I guess he's gonna play an Atlantean named Valko.
Oh yeah, he's the what is he, like, scientist or something? He's something to do with science, I think.
Yeah, it says he's a consistent in the DC universe since the late 60s. And while his roles change over the years, from mentor to trader to king, he's always been some kind of authority figure, I guess, for Atlantis. So yeah, that's cool. I mean, when we first saw that, we knew it wasn't the Joker, but remember, like, he would be perfect as the Joker. But yeah, he's apparently gonna play an Aquaman villain, and that's cool. Maybe he'd be in the Aquaman film. So
interesting.
That's awesome.
Did you see J.K. Simmons photo of him getting ready to play Commissioner Gordon?
Where he's like all musculared out or whatever.
Jim Gordon, Gym.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Holy crap. Okay.
That is insane. And I guess someone saw footage of them on a set visit or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that on the what was it, IO9, I think.
Yeah. So that's cool. Yeah. Jesus Christ, he's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he can hold his own.
Cool. Right. I'll say.
Oh yeah. We got some Fast 8 news. Now, I thought we talked about this, but no. Okay, Helen Mirren joins the film as unannounced role. She's probably gonna play a villain, you think?
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Interesting.
She might. No, it was Charlize Theron that was the last bit of casting news we had for this.
That's right. They're just stacking this film with talent.
Right? And now they've got Helen Mirren. Okay. Sure. Why not? She exactly. had a great quote. She said, "Look, I'll do this movie if I can drive."
Right.
So
right.
She's doing the movie, so I guess she's gonna drive, which is gonna be awesome.
Right. I think next week we'll announce that Brie Larson's joined the picture.
Right?
Like, it just seems like every week they get some good talent. That's awesome. Yeah, let her drive. Get her behind the wheel. We got some Conjuring 2 announcements. The Nun announced a spin-off of the horror film. So, like, is this going to be, like, ongoing Conjuring thing where there's a Conjuring film and then there's a spin-off that's maybe not so good?
Apparently. But, there's worse models to follow.
Yeah, that's true.
And I like the idea of, like, hey, here's this thing that maybe isn't central. I haven't seen the sequel, so I don't know exactly what the Nun in this is. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's because, like, Annabelle in the first one was like, hey, here's this really potentially frightening thing that isn't the focus of this movie, but keep it in mind. And then they did the spin-off, and yeah, it kind of sucked. But look, that's not a bad way to do, like, a main movie and then a spin-off. Like, that's...
Oh yeah, no, take a scary element from that. And I always found that interesting with The Conjuring, is that it was almost like watching an episode of The Simpsons, where it opens up with this one thing you think the episode's going to be about, and then a few minutes into it, it completely shifts gears into something else. And it might relate to it. It might have just been the starting off point, but that's exactly what happened in The Conjuring. It was like, here's this cool story you watch for, like, 15 minutes maybe? and then it just switches gears, and it's like, and then it comes back around, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that's interesting. Um, yeah, no, okay, all right, yeah, I definitely want to see The Conjuring too. Just haven't had the time. But definitely want to check that out.
Yeah, I always wait for home release. I don't Horror movies in theaters usually wind up ruined for me
Really?
because other people, man,
Oh,
other people will just ruin movies. And I can usually get over it because it's like, hey, it's an action movie, it's a comedy, it's whatever, it's not a big deal. But when it's a horror movie, I've got to be in my own headspace for those. I can't have to have other people's reactions or distractions
oh
influence
man.
that. I can't do it.
I disagree. Best date movies, horror films are the best because, oh man, totally. Like, I won't get into it, but there's so many reasons why you'd want to. And I kind of like the audience reacting. It all depends. If they react good, then of course it's great. I wouldn't want someone talking the whole time, or like, yo, get out of the room. What are you doing? Like, I wouldn't be able to deal with that. But like, when people are jumping and screaming all together, it's kind of like a ride. It's kind of cool. Um,
Yeah, well, that was how they sold us all Paranormal Activity, and we bought that hook, line, and sinker.
it was great. I will take that to the grave. The
The
Paranormal Activity was so good in the theater. Oh man, that's kind of one of my prime examples of
Boo.
seeing those kind of films in the theater. It's so good.
I hated that movie.
Oh,
The marketing was genius. I'm not taking anything away from it from that. The marketing was absolutely genius.
yeah,
Hey,
I don't
they
know. I left with marks on my arm. That's how freaked out people were in the theater. Like it was fun. Like you don't get that with other films. Like except maybe comedies. When I think comedies are completely different in the theater than they are watching them at your house. You know what I mean?
fair enough. Yeah.
Because like the whole audience is laughing, the whole audience is engaged in it. And horror movies, if you're in the right crowd with the right people, if you go with the right person, and you're not just, on a Thursday 4 weeks after release, and there's 8 people in the theater and someone's just yelling or talking to the screen, that's got to be horrible. But I mean, like opening week, everyone's freaked out, everyone's screaming, or everyone's like, jumping or whatever. I find that so cool. But Conjuring, it's what, been out for a week now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I don't see it this week, then I'll probably wait for it to be home, because odds are it'll be me and like 15 other people in the theater, and that gives way for people to want to talk.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see here. They got a Lego movie sequel delayed to February 8th, 2019.
Yeah, that's a big push. That was what, 8 months from when because they wanted it what, sometime mid to late 2018, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I
that's
imagine that film takes a long time to make.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, so that makes sense. But actually, we're running close to a break, so we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we got more movie news to talk about. You're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And uh, we got some wicked news. Musical's film adaptation gets release date for December 20th, 2019.
Yeah, they've been kicking this around forever.
Yeah, see, I don't know anything about this. I've always seen the signs and stuff, but
It's basically it's the prequel to Wizard of Oz that everybody wanted instead of whatever the thing was we got with James Franco, which actually wasn't bad. I forgot what it was titled, but it was like, it was okay.
mhm.
But I think this is even this is like pre that.
Oh wow.
It's kind of like, hey, what if actually the Wicked Witch wasn't, it's like, oh hey, she's green, therefore she must be bad, and it's like, what if that's followed her entire life, and it turns out the Good Witch is like the popular alpha cheerleader type who's just a really awful person.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I remember seeing parts of that film, but
Yeah.
yeah. But all right, let's see what else do we got here. We got some Shrek news.
Yeah, because I mean, why not? Like, just I
Yep.
don't know.
Steve Burke of NBC Universal says they're looking to revive the franchise.
Do something different. Do something new. Let this be.
How many Shrek movies were there?
4.
Jesus.
They wanted to do 6.
Yeah. God, there's really been 4?
Yeah. Shrek 2, Shrek 3, and then Shrek Forever After.
Jesus. That's crazy. Never really was my thing. The first one was funny. I don't really remember the second. I didn't know a third or fourth existed, so.
Yeah. Well, that's funny, because the second one made, like, a ton of money.
Oh, I bet.
The second one was huge.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I bet.
It was, I think it had the record for highest opening animated weekend, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's what Finding Dory beat, I think.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah, I heard that one's good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. We got Tokyo Ghoul, manga getting live action film adaptation.
Sure.
Do you know anything about this?
I know nothing about this.
Yeah, me either. Let's see here. Ooh.
This is just one of those that I keep hearing, like, it's like when people talk about, like, what's the next new anime that could go mainstream. It's like, it was Attack on Titan, and now it's Tokyo Ghoul, and okay, whatever. I know.
This looks like stuff my cousin in Nebraska keeps posting on Facebook, and I'm like, are you okay? Like, because it's really, I don't know, looks creepy. But I imagine that's the point of Tokyo Ghoul, is to have it look gross and.
I would imagine so, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of blood. Because she would never give context to the pictures. I'm like, why is that guy biting the other one's head off? But yeah. We got Hotel Transylvania 3 movie announced with September 21st, 2018 release date. Okay, never seen any of these.
This is the kind of thing when people say film is dead, this just kind of gives that argument credence. Like, why are they making a third? The first 2 didn't make all that much money, and they sucked. So why?
Oh wow, it's got Adam Sandler, Andy Samberg, Selena Gomez, Kevin James, Steve Buscemi, David Spade. So it's an Adam Sandler animated movie.
It is. It's like if they said, "Hey, what if we did Grown Ups but animated with Universal monsters?"
Wow.
And it sucks as much as it sounds like it would.
Oh yeah, the vampire looks like Adam Sandler. That is ridiculous.
And Adam Sandler does not need more money. He already has one ironclad embarrassing deal that Netflix wishes they'd never made. So, right. I mean, this is not... I don't understand this. I don't know why they're doing this.
Yep. Well, yeah, okay, it's Sony. That's why.
And they need more bad press?
Right, no, I totally agree. But doesn't he have a deal with Sony?
Oh, God, I hope not.
That's who his original deal was with, right?
No, his thing with Netflix is exclusive for Netflix.
Oh, see, I remember in the Sony leaks, they were like, stop making Adam Sandler films. Like, that was their biggest thing they kept saying.
He may, I don't know, he may have one with them as well, but I know his one with Netflix is just between him and Netflix.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I mean, that would make more sense why they have to keep making these things, but...
Yeah. Maybe he's not in the third one.
They wouldn't make it without him.
Okay, Sony dumped him. That's why he did the deal with Netflix, I'm reading.
Okay, so then why the hell are they making this movie?
Yeah, they made the right move by cutting off his deal, and that's when Netflix scooped in and picked him up.
and now they're figuring out why Sony dumped him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's see here. This one's kind of interesting.
Speaking of completely unnecessary movies,
I would totally see this.
I would not.
No, you wouldn't?
I would. I don't want to go see Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Beverly Hills Cop 4. Wait, you take this because the names.
Yeah, Adil El Arabi and Bilal Fallah, who did Black. These guys are a Belgian-Moroccan co-directing duo. And they
Okay.
that's what look, hey, I'm all for, like, if you did some awesome foreign film and a studio says, hey, we want you to do this big project, I think that's great. I think that's kind of the path that people want to take. Maybe
it just sounded like you were describing a rock band and not a group of writers, though.
Yeah, right. Like, I don't, but like, I've got to think that they're like, all right, we get to come to Hollywood and we get to make a big Hollywood movie, and now we can really get our names out there. So what have you got for us? Beverly Hills Cop 4. No, just no, pass. Like, this is a movie that is not like, this is a movie that would have been great 25 years ago, but
right.
Like, I don't. It's not like Ghostbusters, where at least they're like, hey, it's new people. Like,
right.
we're rebooting the franchise, whatever, however that may turn out. This is just a straight up, hey, we're doing a sequel to this movie that came out back before most of the people making movies now were born.
So, well, I mean, what is Eddie Murphy doing right now?
Nothing, thank God.
Yo, you're not a fan of Eddie Murphy.
Not of his last, like, 10 years in film. No, nobody should be. I mean, that was how we got Norbit and the Adventures of Pluto Nash. Like, I don't ever want to go back to those days.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm surprised they haven't done a new version of Trading Places with, like, Kevin Hart and I don't know, Paul Rudd or something. Like, I'm surprised they haven't.
That would work. Now, that I would watch. That I would absolutely watch.
Yeah, I totally watch that too now that I think about it. That would be awesome.
But I mean, that's the thing of just like
Trading Places would be so relevant today too, if you think
about
it.
Oh, absolutely. But I think, didn't they kind of do something like that recently?
Not that I can think of. Coming to America would be super interesting, but these are films that I know everyone's screaming probably don't touch.
Well,
I'm just saying I'm surprised it's not happened.
Well, I mean, here the thing with Coming to America is, like, if you go back and watch it, it is 80s stereotyped in the way you could only get away with back then.
I don't know. I think if you gave it to, like, Sacha Baron Cohen to do, he could totally do it.
Well, he did. It was called Borat.
That's what I mean. Like,
yeah,
I'm surprised that Hollywood, someone hasn't taken these two films that just are by themselves great. And I'm not saying I want it. I'm just saying I'm surprised Hollywood hasn't gone. That's
a fair way to look at it. Like, these are things that nobody wants, but how come it hasn't been done? That's a fair point.
Yes, exactly. And
I don't know.
Trading Places, I would totally want if it was the right talent.
Yeah, Trading Places has been done recently, though. It just wasn't called that. I know there was something. I know there was. It just it escapes me for the moment. But yeah, Kevin Hart and Paul Rudd. Hell yeah, I'll go watch that.
Oh yeah, totally.
Totally in for that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so that's a film that they keep, like, I mean, they've been threatening us with this movie for years now. Yeah. And at one point it was even supposed to, like, Brett Ratner was attached to direct it at one point.
Oh wow.
And I thought, you know what? I would go see that just because it's going to be a complete train wreck on purpose. Like, yeah. It's going to be Rush Hour 3 bad, and I'm in. I'm so down for that. But then I think they had kind of the kerfuffle with the Oscars that year, and that project kind of fell apart. So now they've got, like, hey, let's bring in some people who nobody's heard of to do this movie. And on the one hand, that can be a good thing. On the other hand, it means they're going to try really, really hard to make a Beverly Hills Cop 4 that we're supposed to take seriously.
Yeah, how do you do that?
You can't. It is not possible.
Yeah.
It's not. And especially if it's still Eddie Murphy trying to be new Eddie Murphy. Go back to old Eddie Murphy. Be funny again, man.
Yeah. Totally.
I would love, like, if Eddie Murphy could go back to being funny Eddie Murphy.
Well, he would. This is old Eddie Murphy. If he played the same kind of character, this would be the old Eddie Murphy.
Agreed. But right. I just don't know if he's going to go back that far. Like, I want him to. But, I mean, you know, again, this was, how old is Beverly Hills Cop? What is this, 25 years?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's, for any actor, that's a reach. For somebody that's tried to redefine themselves as much as Eddie Murphy has.
Oh no, wait a second. This is 1984.
God, 30 years. Jesus.
Even more than that. Yeah.
When was Beverly Hills Cop 3?
Well, 1986 was 30 years ago this year.
Yeah.
So, that's 8 years ago.
Hey.
That's crazy.
So yeah, so see, even more. And Eddie can still do good stuff, but not in the comedy. Like him in Dreamgirls was great. He was fantastic. But him in anything comedy he's tried to do in the last 10 years? 15?
I'd say the Nutty Professor was the last one that was truly comedic, and he was not being Eddie Murphy that he was back in the day, but to me that was his last hurrah.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Mulan, he was.
Well, but I think Mulan was before that.
Okay, that's true, and Shrek, he did the donkey thing, right?
I'll give him Shrek.
Right, but that's it. But as a starring live action role.
Yeah, we got all these other, how many, you say The Adventures of Pluto Nash and people remember that, but what was...
The problem was he Nutty Professor did so good that he kept doing that, and all the studios were like, let's just keep doing that. We'll make him talk to animals in the next one. We'll just make him...
Hey, I like Dr. Dolittle.
I know. Okay, that's fine.
I have no illusions about what kind of movie it is, but I enjoyed it. I don't care.
Yeah, but that's what they did. They washed him down, and it's kind of like Ice Cube in a way. He was washed down for a while, and now he's back being rude and swearing all the time. You know what I'm talking about? Ice Cube, where he would go on a family vacation every movie for the
he did Daddy Daycare. Oh yeah.
Right. So they take someone who's just Eddie Murphy, just cussing a storm, being funny, whatever, and then they just family friendly him, because of money.
Yeah. The Haunted Mansion was the big oh, this is not gonna work.
See, I never saw that.
Don't. You're doing yourself a favor.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the first one of here's Eddie Murphy doing extra family friendly stuff.
Yeah.
Dr. Dolittle was fine because it allowed him to have a mental breakdown in the middle of the film.
Yeah.
And he did that really well. But when they're Eddie's going to be super family oriented, it's oh, this is not going to work.
Did you see Bryan Cranston is going to be playing Zordon
in the new Power Rangers film? That's a great choice.
Yeah,
that's a fantastic choice.
Oh yeah, did you? And I didn't realize this, but he tweeted, guess who they named the Blue Power Ranger after?
I don't know if that's apocryphal or not.
Yeah, I don't either. But I thought that was interesting. Said it. He said it, so
right. But
I'm just quoting him.
But that's another thing though. That was 25 years ago. Was Bryan Cranston a big actor 25 years ago?
No, but he was in Power Rangers. Apparently, he knew people that were involved in all that.
Yeah,
so who knows? Maybe one of the writers was just a fan of his and was
that's entirely possible.
Yeah. Take it with a grain of salt. Just what he said. Maybe he was just joking around, probably. Right. But that's a huge win. That's a huge get.
Oh, yeah. Oh, big time.
He's just going to be playing a floating head, but fuck. That's a big name talent. That's going to get people going, huh? What?
Oh, how many Breaking Bad memes can we do out of this now?
Oh, yeah. You think he's going to have a hat on?
You can see the artwork just pouring in.
Right, say my name. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I am the head that floats. Just on and on and on.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
There's gonna be too many. What are some others? Oh.
Right.
Why is that Alpha 5? Why is that pizza on top of the chamber?
Yeah, man. I can't wait. When is that movie coming out?
Is it next year? I think it's next summer.
Oh, good.
I think. I don't remember offhand.
Yeah.
I think it's next year.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk about TV news. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you guys in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And we just got done with some movie news. We're going to hop into some TV now. You go ahead and take the first one here.
Yeah, this I thought this was interesting. Tyler Hoechlin, who was on Teen Wolf apparently, has been cast as Clark Kent for season 2 for Supergirl.
Yeah. Well, he looks like the part.
I don't know. I'm still just disappointed every time it's not Tom Welling.
Yeah, me too. When I saw that, I was like, oh, no.
It just makes me sad. But hey, I hope they do really well.
It doesn't, and this is what I read, and I thought that's an interesting thought, is that Tom Welling could always be a guest star because how many universes are there with the Flash? Like, he could easily pop in and be Earth 4 or 5, whatever.
Right.
He could, if CW really wanted to, they could do that nod, and that would make him like the villain of one season where he's an alternate version, or I don't know, like it's not out of the realm of possibility is what I was reading, is that that's an interesting thought.
Oh yeah, there's 12 different backdoors they could do that through. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool, and I don't know anything about this guy. I looked him up. He looks like he could totally be Superman, Clark Kent. He's got the face and the jaw and the everything. So
yeah.
So there you go.
I just thought it would have been really interesting because they have because Dean Cain played Supergirl's adoptive father.
Right.
So it would have been cool to be like, hey, Superman meets Superman. Like,
right. All these generations.
Yeah. I love when they did, because like they did that on. I think they've had like everybody up to that point that played Superman on Smallville at some point.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Because Dean Cain played like a Jack the Ripper like character.
Oh, that's cool.
And then of course Chris Reeves played like the I have discovered Krypton scientist. I can't remember. Swan, was it something Swan?
Right. Oh man, it's been so long. I never saw like the last season or two of that show. I watched every episode except for the last few seasons. I fell off and I never went back.
You're not missing a lot.
Right.
That was a show that ran it exhausted itself.
I could never see myself watching that this day and age, because the Monster of the Week shit just got so. I don't know how I plowed through that, but I was just like,
yeah,
it's just enough. Like, but yeah. So.
Yeah. And they've also added Linda Carter to the cast for next season.
Oh really?
They got TV's original Wonder Woman to come onto the show.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got some Arrow news. Rick Gonzalez cast as Wild Dog in season 5. Chad L. Coleman cast as Tobias Church.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about these characters.
Church is like an enforcer, like he's a street gang guy.
Right.
But he's not a boss. He's not like he's a crime boss. He's a thug, if I remember right. Or he's like a mid-level, like he's not really special. And Wild Dog is like a vigilante type.
Well, see, that's kind of lame. I really like Chad Coleman, so I would have liked him in more of a.
Well, and they may be fleshing these roles out. I think part of why they pick a lot of these characters is like, oh hey, here's a character that they never really did much with. This is perfect for us to go somewhere with.
Oh, so Chad's gonna be a villain. I don't know if I like that. I like him more as a good guy.
I don't know.
Yeah. Wild Dog, never heard of him, but okay. So he's like a vigilante?
Yeah. I imagine he's going to be more of like Arrow season 1. Yeah. Like that kind of like, I'm just so tired of this crap kind of. I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, yeah. Real fast, one of my favorite things, I was watching the Kind of Funny Guys on their Colin and Greg live show, and one of my favorite bits they do is that someone in the audience will ask Greg, who knows all things about DC Comics, to explain to Colin, who knows nothing about DC Comics, DC Comics Rebirth, and he starts going into detail, and just over the amount of like 5 to 10 minutes, Colin literally loses his mind. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Dr. Manhattan. Like, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But yeah, sorry, I got sidetracked there. And they always talk about this kind of stuff. Like, who the fuck is what? So it's funny to me. But we, when we talk about, we both kind of know these universes, but the people they're casting are so deep in, like, I've never heard of these people, but
Yeah, I know there's some of these that I'm looking at and I'm just going, okay, I don't. And I mean they did that with Deadpool. I mean, Negasonic Teenage Warhead was in one issue of a comic.
that's true.
That was
That's
it.
true.
And I was like, damn, that's a really awesome way to do that. Where they're like, where's a character that's like, oh, this is a character, so it's been a step. We're not creating anything new from the ground up. We're starting with a name, and then we're rebuilding the entire character from the ground up. Totally fine with that. Totally
Right.
fine.
You have more to play with. Yeah, I'm looking at Wild Dog right now. He's got like the Jason mask on, you know,
Yeah.
or the
There's a Casey Jones vibe to him. There really is.
Oh yeah, he looks like he has a graphic T-shirt with a dog on it. So, yeah, that's cool. All right, I'm in. I was a little disappointed by the Arrow season finale, but
I haven't. I'm still like 2 or 3 back, I think.
I didn't hate it as much as the internet did.
Yeah, I saw like the internet lost its mind.
Well, I think it's because they see what Arrow's do, they see what the Flash is doing, they see what Legends of Tomorrow had. It wasn't as good as the Flashes, but they see these other shows having great endings where the Arrows was just it was okay, and that's the problem.
Yeah, it like the bar for everybody else has been raised. So
right,
yeah.
and the last few seasons of the Arrow have been pretty well good endings, but this one it fell a little bit flat, and I wasn't just like people were disgusted by it. And it's okay. I'm still in. Like I'm this far in. I'm gonna keep watching, but I don't know. But speaking of the Flash.
Yeah, this was like I love that Gustin like teased it. He was like just finished. I don't know if they just finished shooting or reading the script for season 3, episode 1, and he was like, "Don't know what I can tell you if I can tell you what it's called." And Berlanti responded to him on Twitter, "I have no problem with you telling him the title."
Yeah.
And so Gustin's next tweet was season 3 premiere titled Flashpoint. This is not a drill.
Yeah, we're there. We're at Flashpoint. Like I bet Kevin Smith wept when he read that. And what's cool is Flashpoint isn't like a deep dig, but it's something that is recent. It's something that most DC comic people know about. It's what changed DC Comics, and made it the New 52. It really was the turning point. So like, it's gonna be and I'm sure it's
well, and they've talked about like it's not going to be the same thing.
Right. I imagine it's the same concept where he went back, did this thing, and now I imagine him and Iris's relationship is no more. Like I imagine stuff like that is going to change. Just when we got them together, I can see them totally. Just we might even get what's his face back, like her old boyfriend.
We just very well might.
Fiance, yeah, exactly. Like this just throws. This would be the perfect reason to bring Supergirl into the universe.
Exactly. Like this opens the door so wide.
Right, exactly. So this is a game changer across all the shows, I imagine. I that's where I'm curious if it's going to change things in Arrow, if it's going to change things in Legends of Tomorrow, because you think it would, but maybe it's just the people that are close to him that it changes. So
well, what I would like to see it do is like it changes things in the Flash, and so when we have this big every series crossover in December, like as they're talking to Barry, he's going, "Wait a minute, I don't remember this." Like they start talking to him about other stuff, or when Supergirl is talking to him, it's not about the time he popped in from an alternate Earth, it's about the time she helped him out on a scoop.
Right.
Or something like that. And he's like, "Wait a minute, what are you people talking about?" Like like all of their stuff can still be its own continuity. Let it be whatever it was. Cuz that's a huge I don't know how you could do an entire network rewrite.
Right. Suddenly, Arrow gets his mom back or something. Like, that would be interesting. They could totally do that. Or he gets his buddy back, the one who died in the first season.
Oh, man, yeah, they could get Tommy back. That would be kind of cool, yeah.
What a twist would that be if Tommy walks back in and they act like nothing would happen, and the audience, and Barry shows up. I don't know. It would just be like, I thought you lost your friend, or I don't know how they could write that. but that would be a huge fucking twist in a show that didn't even have to do with it. So I don't know.
That would be really interesting to see if they're like, oh hey, by the way, just so you know, not only is this all in the same universe, but what happens on one really does affect the other one. It suddenly makes all four of them must watch TV.
Totally. And you could maybe do something before it where it's like, it's just like the comics where it's like,
well, I mean, because
read issue blah blah blah.
Well, but I mean, here's the thing: Flash premieres the day before Arrow does.
Oh, that's true.
So you could set it up in the Flash, and then you have Arrow, and then you have Legends, and then Supergirl is the week after.
Right.
So like, I don't know. You could start like with a complete reboot that you intend on fixing. Like all of this is going to come back around to some sort of the status quo. But right. I don't know. You could do it. You could totally do it. Like that's what it leads up to in this big 4-part crossover in December, of like, okay, now we've got to put everything back where it came from, kind of thing.
Now, have you finished Legends of Tomorrow?
I have done no more of Legends of Tomorrow yet.
Oh, you got to finish it, because now there's been some casting news, and it's kind of a spoiler. I don't want to say who these people are playing. I don't know if I should say it or not.
Give me one more week, and if I haven't done it by the next week, then that's on my head.
Well, okay, so I won't say who they're playing, but they're casting a lot of characters. We'll talk about it next week. There'll probably be more news then anyway about some of the cast. But as you know, the whole first season isn't going to make it. This is a rotating cast. They've announced that from the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
But we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll talk more about TV. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on N.FM. See you guys in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. Got more TV news to talk about. We got, still kind of saying with CW, the network is trying to work out a deal with Netflix to bring the TV series to a streaming platform as early as 2 weeks after the season ends.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Because Hulu got greedy, apparently.
What happened?
They were overreaching in terms of what content they could get when. I don't know all the details, but apparently CW looked at this deal and said, you know what? No, we're going to do this with Netflix.
Oh, wow.
So, I don't know. But yeah, apparently they're going to try to accelerate how fast the seasons come to Netflix.
That's great. I always assumed they waited till after the DVD release, because why would you...
Exactly. Like, that would just make sense. But yeah. I think now they're seeing that this is a more... Like DVD box sets are great and everything, but they're not... This is the better way to go.
Right, I imagine they're making more money doing deals with Netflix than actually selling the DVD, because I used to be the guy that went and got a DVD of a season, every season of the show that I liked. I haven't done that in years.
No, now it's on Netflix or Hulu or something. Yeah. Like they're...
So you got a buddy that figures out a way to get it, and I'm not promoting that or saying that's cool, but that's the reality of it. They see torrenting and all that other stuff, and they're like, how do we figure out a way to make money?
Right. So we bring them to Netflix sooner. Right. It makes more sense.
Exactly, because the normal Joe would rather go to Netflix or Hulu and pay monthly than risk, going to a site where it's illegal, or a site where it is torrents, or I'm sorry, with viruses just chock full of, they'd rather not deal with that,
Yeah.
or iTunes, you just buy the whole season. Much more better way to do it. And if you make it cheap like Netflix, which it's totally justified. What is it, $11 a month now?
I think it's 10.
10? Yeah, you can't beat that. Like that's fantastic service.
Yeah,
most TV shows.
And I know some people are freaking out. Like it was $8 a month, and then it was $9 a month, and now they're raising it to 10. I'm like, look at all the freaking content they're making, and shut up. Like.
Exactly. Like, okay, don't buy that extra soda at the 7-Eleven.
Right. And then, hey, what do you know? You're done. Like, right. That's it. You have officially saved your monthly fee.
Exactly.
Like, have refill your water bottle instead of going to a vending machine one time, and then you're set. Like, that's literally the price difference.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I don't mind. If it gets to $15 or $20 in the next few years, that's when I
Uh,
still think it's a valuable thing because that's what HBO is right now. I still think that would be okay. You get to $20, that's when you're like, no, that's really not
that's
worth it.
HBO now is 15, and that's like if they raise their price, I'm out. Like
Right. Well, I imagine everyone gets it right now. Game of Thrones, everyone's got it, and then after Game of Thrones, they drop it.
yeah, but I don't know. Like HBO's got a lot of good stuff on there.
That's true. That's true. But I imagine it's the most popular right now. That's why Game of Thrones right now has to be behind the scenes, or HBO going, okay, what do we got to create something new now? I know they have the Westworld or something.
Yeah, did you see that trailer?
I did not. Was it good?
It's interesting.
I'll watch it on
It's
our next break.
yeah,
And
it's interesting for sure.
yeah, they need something to replace Game of Thrones, just like they needed. They had Entourage that took over from Sopranos. Sopranos took over from the Wire and the Jail Show or whatever.
Oz, yeah.
Right, right. So like, and then after Entourage, it was Game of Thrones. They need that something that makes you want to buy and subscribe to.
Well, and let's not forget they also had shows like Deadwood and Rome. I mean, these things ran for seasons.
Yes, and Boardwalk Empire. There's always this
Boardwalk
show on the
Empire,
outliner
yeah.
that's right there, kind of with it, but there's the one
Oh yeah.
overshadowing.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, big time. Well, like,
Yeah.
because I mean, like right now, Game of Thrones is the big one, but they've also got like Ballers and Silicon Valley and Veep.
Right, right. Silicon Valley, I could see being that's probably the biggest one underneath it. I'm thinking.
Really, that one ahead of Veep?
Yeah, I hear more people talking about
Fair enough.
Silicon Valley, and Ballers actually too, because The Rock. But Veep's just not my kind of show. I tried watching it, and I was like, that's not for me. Um, but I don't know. Yeah, if it's off my radar, I don't know much about it.
Yeah.
So, um, maybe it's just because of my age and everything else. More people were like, "Hey, Silicon Valley's funny," and I didn't even think it was that funny. I was like, "This is people trying way too hard to be into tech stuff."
Right.
Yeah. So but yeah, I don't know what HBO is going to do moving forward. I imagine that Westworld's going to be popular. I heard the trailer was great, so cool, good on them. Man, I just want the Name of the Wind. I want
Right?
to what
Like, come on, Lionsgate, let's get moving here. Like,
you know what I would kill for, but it's super super impossible to do right now. I would have much rather liked a show set in the Warcraft universe, uh, in 10 episodes instead of in a 2 hour movie. It was way too much in 2 hours. We'll get into it in a little bit, but I would love a series where you had 10 episodes to tiptoe into that universe and you got the point of view of a character who doesn't really know much of what's going on, and little by little you're shown things, you meet characters, you're birthed into that world very slowly instead of just like boom shotgun right out of the gate. I would love that, but you couldn't do that with all the orcs and everything else unless you like did prosthetics or something instead of the CGI.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I would have loved. Like if HBO, if for some reason the next few years they're like, we're gonna do a Warcraft TV show, and oh God, I would love that. I'm just trying to think of universes where HBO could pick up something like a Game of Thrones and have it be great. That would have been cool. Who knows?
Well, I mean, we've talked about it before. Like, there's so much fantasy they could dive into.
That's true.
There's the Wheel of Time. There's so many.
And that's the thing. That's the only fantasy show on TV right now. I can't think of a single other. And when Game of Thrones is gone, that's it, Jack.
Oh, I'm
I
sure
can't.
there's some on Sci-Fi that nobody's watching.
That's my point. It was never done with that amount of that touch.
Yeah.
And so, I hope they do something similar next. But I'm probably not. HBO switches it up pretty big time with their shows. So I don't know. But yes, so let's see here. Speaking of Westworld, yeah, they had the trailer. Well, we'll talk about that, I guess, when I watch it after the break.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Did you see the Gotham news?
No, no, no. What was it?
They've recast Ivy.
Oh, yes, I saw that, and she's like 18 years old, right?
Yeah, yeah. They're apparently gonna find some in-story way to completely reboot the character.
Are they, or are
Yeah.
they
No,
majorly cast?
No, they're talking about like they're taking the same Ivy and they have a way to metamorphose her into this new like 8-year older woman.
She gets eaten by a plant, and the plant makes her grow and age. Okay, I could see something weird.
They're working on like it's not just oh hey by the way that forget that this is a different it's not like what they're mild spoiler alert, it's not like what they're doing with the Joker where it was like oh that wasn't him, okay, it's gonna be like an actual like they're taking this character and changing her into this character.
You got my total hopes up because I was hoping that it would jump however many years. And
you've been banging on about that.
That's what everyone wants.
Yeah.
That's what everyone wants. Keep the same Gordon. Keep this. The same adults in the show. Keep the same Alfred. But fuck, man, give us a young Batman. Like, just figuring it out. He just came. He's just come back from. I don't know. Give me a year 0 or something like that of Batman, and that would be fantastic. Or the years just right before it, where he's really learning his skills.
Yeah.
That would be phenomenal, but nope, they don't care. It's just kids running around, and I don't know why I still watch that show. I caught up to it the other day, a few episodes, but it's weird because it does tiptoe the animated series a little bit as if they made a TV show. So that's what keeps my interest, just how they know they're goofy. And they run with it, and they're not ashamed of it. And I like that, but at the same time, it's still not compelling. There's no one to gravitate towards.
Yeah.
Jim Gordon's just not that compelling to me. And he's probably the one I gravitate to the most. Him and Jim Gordon, but that's it. Let's see here. We got some Samurai Jack artwork for the new Samurai Jack season shown at what festival is this?
It was the Annecy Film d'Animation Festival in France.
Okay.
It was this whole big like, hey, we celebrate animated stuff much more over in Europe.
Yeah.
Because they have the Annies in the UK and everything too. So it's like, oh yeah, that's right. They have like better awards.
Yeah. No, Samurai Jack lends himself to like great artwork.
Yeah. And did you see this?
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, it's like they've already talked like this is Samurai Jack 50 years later.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's going to be because it's going to be on Adult Swim, they are going to delve it's going to be a little darker. They've already promised they're not going overboard with it or anything. But but it does lend itself to saying, "Hey, we can be a little more I mean, this is, Jack's not covered in Kool-Aid here."
Right.
So they're going to get a little more gritty, a little darker with it. And I think that'll work because we are the audience. Mm-hmm. This is only going to be for us. This isn't something like when they rebooted Powerpuff Girls where it was like, "Oh, hey, we kind of like that cartoon and our kids can watch this too." It's like, "No, this is for us."
Right.
This is totally for us.
Yeah, I'm totally down. Definitely want to watch it. I love Samurai Jack. I remember watching it back in the day, and I was like, "This is so different than anything on right now." Like,
right?
It was. I don't know why I made the comparison to Dragon Ball Z, but it was like watching Dragon Ball Z. It was like, this is when I saw Dragon Ball Z for the first time, I thought this is completely different from any other cartoon I've ever seen, and I've always ever just seen American cartoons.
Right.
And when I saw Samurai Jack, I thought, this is completely different from everything else on this block of cartoon shows. It just had a very different tone. There was an episode where I don't even think they said a word.
No, they did. God, like that show allowed them to experiment a little more. I mean, because you had, even like in the time slots surrounding it, you had Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls and even stuff like Teen Titans eventually. Yeah. But Samurai Jack was interesting just because the art style was one thing.
Right.
Like here's this post-apocalyptic world that's got all these different elements. Mm-hmm. Like it wasn't just one setting, and I think that really helped.
Right.
It was really kind of that way.
Surprised there's not like a really cool game, because that would just a really well done Samurai Jack game would be awesome.
They did one for I think PS2 that wasn't too bad actually.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I see here one for GameCube.
Or that might have been it. It was during that era. I don't know if it was.
Problem is, if they made it nowadays, it'd be like an iOS BS, whatever.
Right.
I'd love like a $15 or $20 side-scrolling game for the PlayStation 4 or something, or Steam or something like that.
It would work.
Yeah. Just it's not AAA, just a cheap, in between, kind of awesome side scroller. That would be great.
That way, it can't be as big a disappointment as Young Justice was.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Or Mighty Number 9, apparently.
I've got that coming from GameFly. Yeah, apparently it's not. I've seen
got Sonic the Hedgehog talking. Did you see his Twitter?
No.
Sonic the Hedgehog says, "Congrats on the launch of Mighty Number 9. It's better than nothing."
Ouch.
And it's him doing his snide.
I'll give him
shoulders.
Whoever it is on Sonic Team that's running that Twitter is fantastic, because that Sonic's Twitter is actually really funny.
Oh yeah, that's great. So but yeah, did you see this though? Ghostbusters Ecto Force. Sony announced its animated series to set in the year 2050 to debut in 2018, and oversee by Ivan Reitman.
Yeah, I saw that. So that'll be something.
Yeah.
It's the first cartoon they've done since what was the name of it? The Real Animated Ghostbusters or something, whatever the hell was they called it?
The Real Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Did you see that they brought back the Ecto Cooler?
Yeah, that you can't buy it anywhere.
Yeah, I saw Kotaku do a review of it, and I was like, oh, that's right. It was like just pure green, like you were drinking highlighter water.
Yeah.
So, man, that was some good stuff, though. We got some Before You Judge Me, book about Michael Jackson being developed for TV series by Bad Robot Productions.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. I love J.J. Abrams. I love Bad Robot Productions. They usually do pretty good stuff. So there you go, Michael Jackson.
Right. Well, it's because I know this is focused on the towards the end of his life.
Oh, okay. Well, it's gonna be really sad then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. We have Black Samurai. Common to star in TV adaptation of 1974 Mark Olden novel.
Yeah, this is something I know absolutely nothing about. I think this is something. I think Riz is attached to this as well.
Oh, okay. Wasn't there? What was that? Anime, but it was was Samuel Jackson in
Afro
it?
Samurai. Oh, so
Afro
good.
Samurai.
That was so good. Did you ever actually watch that?
I've seen only a few episodes. Wasn't there a bear involved or something?
At some point, kind of.
Yeah.
Like there's only like a handful of episodes, and then they did like a sequel movie.
Right.
So it's not something that's gonna take a lot of time to watch.
And they had a game that they just pulled off the market.
Well,
right?
They had a sequel. The original game was actually not bad. Like, it was kind of a standard hack and slash, but it worked fine. And apparently, the sequel that was some interesting stuff.
I imagine it was probably a lot based on the Black because when I googled Black Samurai, all I got was Afro Samurai stuff. So
well, because I Black Samurai, if I remember right, is kind of it's a little like The Last Samurai, except he's black.
Okay, so it looks like it's a lot more serious than.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's definitely more grounded. Like, oh no, he's a real person. He's somebody from the army, and he winds up meeting. I don't know if it's like an actual samurai or it's just old wise mentor person. But it's kind of Last Samurai-ish in a way, but it's not like in the 1800s. It's, at least I don't think. I don't know a tremendous amount about this.
Okay, cool.
I don't know. Could definitely be interesting for sure.
Yeah. It says there's a 1977 film as well called Black Samurai. So cool. Let's see here. Some video game news.
Well, hang on. I found this one other piece of TV news real quick.
Oh, cool.
They've added a couple names to the cast of American Gods.
Oh, okay.
over on Stars. Orlando Jones.
Oh, wow.
He's going to be playing Mr. Nancy.
That's cool.
And Demore Barnes is going to be playing Mr. Ibis.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be interesting. More names to the cast. I like Orlando Jones.
Yeah, man. He hasn't been in much recently, I don't think.
He was in Sleepy Hollow.
The TV show?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I never really watched that.
Yeah, played the not the sheriff, but whatever their head lawmaker.
Oh, okay.
It's because it's a smaller town, so it wasn't sheriff or something, or it might have been. I don't know. But
right.
Yeah, that's who he played on there. It was good.
Cool. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the main thing. Evolutions and is kind of the movie that I remember him from. Mad TV, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what else we got here? Any more TV news?
I think that's everything. Yeah, that's all of it. It's all that I have anyway.
Cool. Well, we'll get into some video game news. Let's see here. Let's see.
Did you see
So,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the Pokemon Go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we finally got a month that it's gonna be released. It's gonna be released in July. Available for pre-order now.
Yeah, you can go pre-order the device on Amazon. The little Go Plus badge bracelet lanyard thing.
So what does the badge lanyard thing do?
It communicates with your phone, so you're not walking around staring at your phone all the time.
Like, does it like beep or something?
It like little flashes and beeps so that it's like, oh hey, there's a Pokemon nearby or something, and you can press it to interact instead of
awesome.
like having to keep staring at your phone the whole time.
Oh, that's cool.
So thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah. Man, I can't wait. I don't know if I'd get the lanyard things looks cool, but I want to see what the game's like first before I do that.
Yeah.
But that would be cool.
I don't know. I just like that little badge, like put it up on your collar or something. People are like, yo, you too? Yeah, you too. Like...
Yeah, that would be cool. Let's see here.
It'd be fun to have during a meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
Willis, do you have those third quarter projections? Yes, sir, right here. Oh, hang on, I have to catch a Bulbasaur.
Right, exactly. There's a coughing over there. I'll be right back.
Right.
That would be funny. Hold on. There's a Meowth. He's super rare. Like, oh man, I cannot wait for that game. Did you see what Xavier Woods was talking about? What he's doing?
No.
If I could take a minute and explain this.
Go for it.
He was on the Kind of Funny live show, and of course they don't play Pokemon. I think the only guy on that show does is Tim. He's big Nintendo. And so when they talked about Pokemon Go coming out, they kind of rolled their eyes, and he goes, "Are you kidding me? I can't wait for this." He goes, "Here's the deal." He goes, "I'm in a new town every night."
Oh my god, this is perfect for him. That's right, he is. Oh.
Yes, he's like, "I'm in a new town every night." Something, and I'll get a little bit sidetracked here. He goes, what he's setting up is an Excel sheet where people can fill out the best gaming bars in each city, so that by the end of the year, he should have a list of the best arcades in each town he visits, so that he can visit them. And odds are that's probably where he'll be after the show. And so his goal is in each city to gather as many Pokemon that are kind of for that area or whatever that would be rare for other areas, if that's how it works, to get them all. And then when he goes home to Atlanta to his gym, his actual gym, trade them to someone there to keep them, and so that he could actually travel the world and catch them all. And he said he has the best job for that.
He's exactly right. He's in the perfect profession to do it in.
Right, and he said he's going to get enough so that he can come back and trade it to all of his friends and family and whoever, because he could go to Germany and he can go to London, he can go to Japan, he could be in Miami, or Orlando, or New York,
Australia. These guys do it. These guys do a Middle Eastern tour now.
Yeah, so
can you imagine when they do their tribute to the troops, if they're like, and we're in Kandahar, and he's like, and I just caught an Abra, like, this is awesome.
Right. There's a sand shrew over there, yeah. So
right,
it would I found it hilarious, and I'm like, that is awesome because I hope that it's not that bad where like you have to go to
it's
to get something.
Right. I don't think it will be, but I think just the idea of like, and I think like having some of the more rare Pokemon like that, I'm okay with. I think you're gonna find most of them everywhere, but I mean, aside from the birds, like there's a handful. Like some of the like I'm okay with like if they want to hide Dratinis and something like that. Some of the I'm okay with that. Like
we got
Ditto.
like 700 to go through. If they do the original 150 that you can capture in your local town.
Well, I think that's what they're starting with just in general.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah. Make the super rare ones, the brand new ones that I don't know that much about, cool.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to walk down the street and get a Squirtle or a Charmander, or make it like the. Oh man, see, I don't even know how this works. Do you get a starter? Do you get a pick? You just walk up on a Squirtle.
I don't think you get a starter. I don't. I think because there's not really like a battle element until you get to the gyms.
Oh, okay. Oh man, this is gonna be so cool. I can't wait.
See, turned you around on this, didn't I?
Yeah. Well, no. What do you mean you turned me around on it?
Well, because you
saying I wanted this from the beginning.
Well, but I mean, because you were all like with the little device, you were all like, oh, I don't know.
The device, yes. I don't know about the device, just because
it's a little Bluetooth accessory. I mean, that's what it is, and it's
$30 though.
Yeah, so you can just walk around, and as soon as it blinks, you're just like, oh, hey, hang on, I have to press this and do something instead of pulling out your phone and doing all this and whatever. Like, I know. Look, I'm not buying it. I
think you have to pull out your phone. It just alerts you.
No.
You don't just catch it, right?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's the thing of like
the purpose.
But I mean that's what it's not just a light, like it also functions as like a little like remote kind of thing.
Oh, see, I assumed that when you're walking around, it alerts you that something's there, so you don't have to have your phone out with the app open and the app to alert you.
It's that as well. Like you can take out your phone and see like, oh, what am I doing?
I still think you have to capture it. You have to throw a Pokeball or something.
Well, but I mean even so, like that's still just a tap on your phone.
So you capture everything that you come across automatically?
Apparently.
That's kind of silly.
Well, no, as long as but hang on, here's the thing. It's not like, oh, you've walked up on a Pokemon and now you catch it. It's like, oh, you've walked up on a Pokemon, so now this thing is going to alert you, and then you can press the thing to interact. Like you don't have to check your phone much at all.
I gotta watch more of the demo because I always assumed that like you battled them and stuff, but I guess not.
No, you don't. You don't bet. It's not like in the other games.
Oh, okay.
They kind of save that element for the gyms. That's where that element comes into play. The whole thing with this is supposed to be like more of an open world explore, get out and walk around and just collect Pokemon kind of thing. It's not quite as serious.
Right. This is going to have me driving all over town.
Exactly. Well, walking, presumably.
Well, I don't know. But yes, I'll be walking around my neighborhood. I don't know if I'm going to go walk to clear across town. But yeah, no, just stroll. Yeah, this is going to be cool. This is definitely going to be cool.
Yeah.
What else do we got here? We got some Paper Mario news?
Yeah, apparently they're doing a new Paper Mario. Color Splash, they're calling it. Comes out October 7th.
What's different with this one?
I don't know. I didn't watch the trailer. I haven't been in like the 1,000-Year Door was cool on GameCube, and then after that, like it's just kind of fallen off a cliff. I tried playing the whatever the sticker one was, and I hated that mechanic, so I just gave up on it. And apparently, I'm not alone. Most of the comments on the Color Splash trailer were saying, "Give us back the old gameplay."
Right.
So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like an RPG, I guess, like Mario RPG.
That's what Paper Mario has always kind of been.
Right. Yes, yeah. Never really played it.
You should definitely at least play the first one. First one was really good.
See, I'm playing right now the Stick of Truth. Did I see you got that or?
Yeah, I did. I couldn't help it.
Yeah, have you liked it? You enjoying it?
Oh, I love Stick of Truth. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, that's right. You've played it all the way through. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got it now because I'm gonna start. I'm gonna platinum this game. That's going to be my next platinum. Is Stick of Truth.
I looked at that. Holy shit. How much stuff you have to remember to do and to not to do in a specific order. I started watching every video I watched, all the comments were like, you missed this, you missed this, you missed this, you gotta make sure you gotta do this, and I was just like...
You have to have this equipped in order to do this to get this with that, and remember to use this. Oh yeah, that's trophy hunting, man. I did that for years.
Yeah, no, hats off to you. I looked at it for about 20 minutes, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna enjoy the game. I'm not gonna go through all that. Yeah, but hats off to you, man. I really wanted to do that, but couldn't. All right, well, when we get back, we're gonna get into a lot of stuff: Money in the Bank, Warcraft, Finding Dory, Game of Thrones. See you guys all in a minute. You're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And before we get into the reviews and whatnot, let's real fast talk about this. Gonna be a Monopoly musical, I guess, can be a thing.
Yeah, this is a thing now. I don't know. I guess maybe they've given up on the movie, so they're gonna do a musical.
That makes more sense.
It does in a bizarre way. Yeah, it actually does.
It'd be a funny, But okay, so that's the thing.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns was suspended for 30 days following a wellness policy violation.
Yeah, Roman's on roids. Who knew?
Roids, or he could have partied a little too much after.
No. That's not what the wellness policy's about.
That's what I read. That it's drugs, pretty much.
Well, yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So it wasn't released, was it?
No, and it never will be. Like, we'll never know for sure.
See, he could have easily been like, well, I went to a party and people were smoking next to me. Who knows?
It's possible, but...
It's because it's Vegas, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Did you see their Snapchats?
No.
They were partying. I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility they get drug tested the next day or 2 days later or whatever. That they get out of Vegas. I don't know. It could very well be roids. Dude is freaking huge.
And here's why I think it's something like that instead. Is because Roman is supposed to be the guy. Yes, because that's his actual gimmick, and that makes me insane.
Yeah.
But they would not. I don't think they would actually bust it because their wellness policy is flexible, depending on how much stock they've put in you.
Yeah.
We have seen this before. I'm not naming any Randy Orton names, but we've seen them do this on occasion.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, we can not really change the rules without telling anybody. So that's their business to run it, to run their business how they do it. That's on them.
Now, is this before the pay-per-view?
No, this suspension was after Monday Night Raw.
No. I mean, is this gonna run over the pay-per-view, or is this suspension lifted before the pay-per-view?
It'll run over. Yeah, it's gonna run past Battleground. So so next week, they're gonna have to address this in some manner. I don't know how.
They're gonna give him the big shit for so long now that he's the man because he cheated or something. What do you think could they do that? Do they address it professionally, or do you think the guys, it's gonna now be a part of their written script to give him a hard time because he couldn't?
Well,
it's gonna be interesting.
What's gonna happen is when he comes back.
He's not going to be in the
No, they have to completely rewrite that. He won't be at Battleground. So the Shield
draft,
triple threat will not. Well,
they'll say his name, but that's it.
They'll draft him somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he won't make an appearance. Or they may not. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see just how buried he gets because of this.
Yeah.
Because I know they were big on him, and now I don't know. Now do they? When he comes back, do they put him back in the main picture? Do they put him back in the title hunt? Does this finally give them license to say, look, he's done a bad thing, let's finally make him a freaking heel?
That would be the best thing to do.
That's the irony about this is it's probably the best thing professionally that could have actually happened.
Yeah,
which is
honestly, make him the heel. You get Dean Ambrose. Let's just talk about it. We're in Money in the Bank. Let's talk about it. I think it was perfect the way they did that, because I loved that they all three got it on the same night, and it made it way more interesting. We both agree that Seth Rollins, and I'm the outsider. You're the guy that's been watching it every year for how long now? So I'm the outsider.
14 years,
14
I think,
years.
straight.
I'm just the guy getting back into it, and I see Dean Ambrose and I see Seth Rollins, and I see them way more exciting getting the title.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't see, as much as I guess everyone saw it coming, I didn't see it coming. I thought they were going to do the same shit where he, Romans pulls over him, and then the whole crowd boos like they have the last,
Well, here's the thing. That's what that was kind of what everybody secretly hoped wasn't going to happen, but it was kind of like that was the more probable outcome.
Right.
Everybody wanted Rollins over.
Yeah.
And seeing him go over clean, seeing him actually just straight up beat Roman.
Yeah.
Was I think the most surprising part. That, and when he countered that spear into a pedigree, that was just gorgeous. That was insane. Yeah. It was a perfect way to cap off a night that just had, oh my god, I can't believe he did that moments. Rest in peace, Kevin Owens' lower back.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus, that was just painful to watch.
Oh yeah.
But seeing, and we'll get into the rest of the card here in a minute, but just that, like, that match, for as much as they build it, it played so much slower. Like, they build it as like these guys are gonna tear each other apart, and then they didn't. So that was a little disconnected. Yeah. But I mean, the match was solid, and it was, the psychology was all right. And then the way they ended it with him just straight up beating Roman, and I was like, wow, okay. And I mean, that was just really interesting.
Yeah.
And then of course everybody was kind of thinking like, well, what if Ambrose cashed in right now?
Right.
It was a what if. It wasn't like, oh, this is what's going to happen now. It was going to be like, okay, so now Seth has the title, and Ambrose is going to do whatever for the next few months, and then at some point. But what if he did it now? Wouldn't that be cool? Well, yeah, that'd be cool, but he's never going to, oh my god, they're playing the music. Yeah, they're going to psych him out, and then he actually cashed out. I was like, oh my god, they did the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, man, it was exciting. And, like, on a night like that, you had, the NBA Finals, you had Game of Thrones, and you had Money in the Bank.
Right. And Cleveland won twice.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I mean, that was interesting.
Yeah. So, like, it was an interesting night of just everything, like, just to take in. So, dude, it was actually a really fun pay-per-view to watch. One of the best I've seen in a long, long time, I thought.
And it wasn't even all that great. Like, most of that card was dull.
No, I don't know. I liked the tag team match. I liked
we'll go from the top of the show. That fatal 4-way tag match was awesome, and then at the end it completely fell apart.
Yeah.
It really, I don't know what happened. I don't know who missed a cue where, but that finish was just, I mean, it was a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I saw Enzo and Cass win when he did 3 count.
Well, the crowd got ahead of themselves, was what happened with that.
Well, he hit the mat 3 times, and the guy who was on the outside went to put his leg up, but he couldn't get the leg on the rope. And then the referee looked over and was like, "Oh, he's messing around," and then he stopped. But he did a 3 count.
I don't think so, no.
Maybe I have to rewatch that. But I heard that 1, 2, 3, and I was like, "What?" And then the referee gets up. He sees the guy putting his leg over, and he's like, "No, it's continuing." I was like, okay. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I like New Day. If anyone gets the titles from New Day, I want it to be Enzo and Cass.
And that's why it won't be. That's why it's gonna be. It's gonna be. If anybody, I'm afraid it's gonna be the Club.
Ugh.
And here's the thing though,
They're so boring.
I know, and that's WWE's fault, because over in New Japan, those guys were dynamic. Those guys were awesome. Carl Anderson, who Cena completely buried on Monday night.
Because they're a bunch of white supremacists over there.
Well, yeah.
It doesn't work in the WWE anymore.
But they are, well, but I mean, it's not just the gimmick. It's the fact that you put them in the ring and they can really put on a good show.
But I'm just saying they look like 90s bald-headed big white guys.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say they're white supremacists because they're obviously not. But in Japan they look like these big gun-toting American white guys with bald heads and beards, and that works over there in a Japanese crowd.
Well,
over here it's like they look like some washed-up gimmick from the 90s.
And I agree with that on
just
a gimmick.
An outsider point of view when I see it. That's all I'm saying. When I see that, I'm just like, this. I've seen this 1,000 times.
Right, and that's from a gimmick perspective. That is completely fair. I can't argue that. But if they actually let them work in the ring, they put on some really incredible matches, and that's what bums me out.
So you got me there. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. That's what really bothers me about this is that they're not getting any real ring time.
It's just it's oh man, when I see Enzo and Cass, like they're so different. There's this little short energetic guy running around, like those Looney Tune cartoons where he's like, let me at him, and then you have the big guy, hold his head back, they're so entertaining. They just steal the show every time they're in that ring.
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying. That's why, of course, they're not going to get it. But holy shit, like they would be to me they would be the ones, because New Day deserves it, man. They're great.
New Day has been the stable that has revived the tag division. There were hints of a tag revival before they came along. Like they really did try to put something together, and then it just kind of disintegrated. Yeah. Like it didn't fall apart because it wasn't even that spectacular. Like it just kind of stopped being anything interesting, because you had teams like the Usos and they brought up the Ascension, who were dominant in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
They were huge in NXT. And so, like, we're going to do this, and it's going to be awesome, and we're going to do this stuff. And then it just sort of fell apart. Like, it just kind of crumbled. And then New Day came along, and originally, they were awful. The New Day's debut was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then they took complete control of that gimmick, and they ran with it, man. Mm-hmm. And you put them and Enzo and Cass in the same ring. And you haven't had that much energy and charisma in a WWE ring in a long time.
Since the Attitude Era, but by far.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, they need more of that. Do you think they're gonna break up New Day soon? Like, they even kind of hinted that in Raw when Xavier Woods started walking forward.
A little bit. Like, I caught that. That was interesting.
And honestly, I like New Day, but I'd rather see Xavier do more. He just seems like the guy who's now standing outside the ring.
Yeah, but he's so good at it, though. He is so good at being a manager. He's great in the ring, but he is so good at being a manager.
He's great at being a manager, but let him do something.
Yeah.
Like, show me some matches. He should be in some of these main event matches. I totally think he could do it. Come out, talk shit about everybody there, be a total geek, and still kick ass. Like, that would be cool.
Yeah.
On top of what he's doing is all I'm saying.
I don't know. So that'll be interesting to see where it is that goes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And that was interesting. That's a segment that split a lot of the crowd. Some people were saying, the Wyatts came back, and then the New Day came out to steal their thunder. Really? And I was like, I thought this was perfect.
Oh yeah, totally.
I thought it was absolutely, and the way they just dropped in the middle of the promo.
Right.
I love this. I love this feud. I love the setup. I think it's gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah, and him just walking towards them just hinted at like maybe Xavier Woods would join them in such a weird, awkward, way. But we've seen Stranger. What, Daniel Bryan joined them once, right?
Well, but I mean, he was a white guy with shaggy hair and a beard. He fit.
That's true. Yes, that's very true. Xavier Woods,
clean cut Xavier Woods does not exactly fit the Wyatt family mold.
You got a great point there.
But I don't know. Look, I'm for anything that's done right. Even if it's something I don't like, as long as it's done well, I'm on board. So
right, yeah, exactly.
I don't know. So that could be interesting. I'm so over the Rusev Titus O'Neil feud. Yeah, I'm done with this because I don't care. I would have loved to have just seen Rusev run through another small guy every week.
Yeah.
I know this is punishment for Titus's little infraction a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. It's done. Get over it. Like we're past this now.
We're gonna make you lose in front of your children.
Yeah.
What kind of company is this?
Hey, it's what you sign up for.
Right. You want to be back? We're gonna make you lose in front of your children on Father's Day.
Yeah. After winning the Parent of the Year award from an actual I forget the name of the organization, but it was a legit. It wasn't just and WWE has named Titus O'Neil their Parent of the Year. No, it was an actual, legit thing.
Jesus.
So, yeah, and it was a gross overreaction to what happened. That whole situation sucks. But I mean, there was that. There was the Divas match, the tag match, which, why Dana Brooke is on the main roster, I don't know. There's potential there, but she's really got to work a lot of these kinks out.
Yeah.
And then Styles and Cena was the match it should have been up until the end. Mm-hmm. With Styles actually outpacing Cena, having his number at every turn was tremendous. Yeah. And I'm okay with it being tainted like that. I'm okay, because then it just kind of extends the feud.
Yeah.
To a big blow off match at SummerSlam, where it's all right, this one, no outside interference, none of the shenanigans. Mm-hmm. So I'm all right with that.
All right, when we get back, we're going to talk about Warcraft, Finding Dory, and Game of Thrones somehow in a few minutes. So we'll see you guys all in a minute. Thank you for listening to We Geek Podcast. See you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And, all right, so I imagine we probably want to talk the most about Game of Thrones and Warcraft. Is there anything you want to say about Finding Dory?
Hey, it was awesome. Go see it.
Will do. Warcraft, real fast, we've mentioned it before. I thought it was a 7 out of 10. I think that it's odd how critics just shamed this. If it was, what did they call it?
Yeah, somebody said it was this generation's Battlefield Earth,
which couldn't be more wrong.
No, it was not even remotely that bad. Not even close.
Not even close. I could totally see someone and see it's great because I know all about this stuff. You're coming in brand new, fresh from it. I went with someone who knew nothing about it, enjoyed it, really enjoyed it, wants to see a sequel, followed the story completely. Maybe some names he didn't remember, some places he didn't know where they were going or whatever. I could totally see that. There's a scene in the movie where they go up to a sky magic place or whatever. Totally doesn't explain it. Doesn't explain what's going on in that scene. I totally understand the criticism for that, but the characters had motivations, clear motivations, and they explained it, in depth, I thought. And I don't know, it was one of those things where I would have wished this movie would have been fleshed out in a season, where we slowly saw, you slowly were introduced to these characters, and you spent more time with them, and I don't know, man, that was my biggest criticism of the film, is that, when you're introduced to these characters, they only have a few minutes to kind of get an understanding of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, like Khadgar and stuff. It just, his character should have been fleshed out over 10 episodes instead of one season. Medivh and Garona, and it's just, I don't know. I thought it was really cool. Real fast, because then we're going to move on to Game of Thrones. I loved how much attention to detail they paid to it, because I swear to God, when you're watching scenes and they're at the end in Goldshire, the candles sitting on the tables, the way the wax burned, the way the barrels were sitting behind the bar. All of this is from the game. I swear to you. Like, everything, it's literally, they took the game and they made a real life version of it where all the tables are sitting, where the bar is, where people sat, the way Goldshire looks, the way the mill is, the way they're in Westfall. When they show Westfall for just a minute, and you probably don't know where Westfall was, but they show the windmill and stuff. All of that is exactly from the game, and I don't mean that they just put Westfall on this on a sign or something. When you're looking at that shot, every house in that shot is the exact location of those farms in Westfall. That's how crazy of detail they went to it. So anyway, the streets, when they showed Stormwind, they're the exact layout of the game. The exact layout. When the Griffin comes in or whatnot, that's where you come in when you fly into that city. That exact spot. So like, I loved it. If you're a fan of Warcraft, this movie was probably amazing. If you're a fan of Warcraft, go see it. If you're not a fan, and you got a few bucks, I'd totally go see it. It's totally worth it, I think. And if not, definitely watch it when it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray. But
I would absolutely, because like I know none of this. Like, I'm taking your word for all of that.
Yeah.
My thing looking at it was that some of the characterization's a little light because it is rushed, but that's not. It's not a cardinal sin. Like, some of the reviews are horrendous, and I don't know why.
It's people. It's the Batman versus Superman syndrome. They saw that and they thought, oh, look how great this was. We shit all over this movie, but that movie sort of deserved it.
Well, Batman v Superman deserved it because it had genuine problems. This one also has some issues, but it's not there. It is not that bad. Like, I would love to sit down with some of these critics just to hear them explain this. I want to hear the justification for some of this, because I mean, the characterization was a little rushed, but not the worst thing in the world.
This was the best video game movie I've ever seen, and I know that's not saying much, but this was, to me, where other video game movies, they completely steer clear of the game. This embraced it. They made this for the fans, but I also thought he did a good job at making it for people who know nothing about it.
Right. This is a solid high fantasy film that just happens to be based off of a video game.
Right. This is going to be the film that when people, because they're not going to go see it in the theater except for China, when they see it on Blu-ray or Redbox one day, they're going to go, wait a second. It wasn't as bad as everyone was trying to say.
Exactly.
It's kind of like when I saw John Carter. I was like, this was actually fun.
Thank you. I'm not the only person on the planet that thinks that. Holy crap.
No, most people think it was good. It's just they failed at promoting it, and critics shunned it, but it was a good movie. I was like, holy shit, this is what if they're talking about? So it's the same thing, and thank God for China, because we're gonna probably get a sequel because of them.
Yeah, they all went and saw it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. They love those kind of films, and good for them, man. I don't care how we get a second one. I'm glad that we're going to. Maybe we'll get some Chinese actors in the next one. That's cool.
Hey, why not?
Yeah, why not? But hey, we only got a few minutes left, so let's talk about. Before we talk about Game of Thrones, let me pick the book of the week. It's going to be Masters of Doom: How Two Guys Created an Empire and Transformed Pop Culture. And it is by. Why is the author's name not next to it? Son of a bitch.
That's a weird name for a dude. Why is the author's name not next to it?
David Kushner. And the audiobook is by Will Wheaton, so I thought that was cool.
Okay.
And it's the amazing true story of Lennon and McCartney of video games. John Cormack and John Romero. Together they ruled big business, transformed popular culture, and provoked a national controversy. More than anything, they lived a unique story of the American dream. So it's a story of the two guys who created Doom.
Right.
So I thought that would... Okay, that's like the console book we read not too long ago. So anyway, let's talk about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, let's talk about Game of Thrones. That was awesome.
That was, and I said this when I first saw it, the best hour of television I've ever seen, and I still stand by it.
That's hard to argue. It's hard to argue.
And it's just a personal thing. Maybe Lost somewhere along the line had a better hour of television, but this was like, I stood up, I looked at it and the scene where John is the camera's behind him and the horses are running at him and they're real horses.
Yeah, just such fantastic cinematography.
Oh yeah, that whole battle was just, it rivals Braveheart and Lord of the Rings and all of these other huge battles that big productions did. This rivals that. This, we've talked about for a while, television shows rivaling the film industry. This was the first time where it just went so far past it that it doesn't just rival it, it's actually doing it better in some ways.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I think I gravitate more towards TV shows because you have a lot more time to fill out a story. Shows like Game of Thrones, not shows that are filler, but shows that tell 10 hours of good content. This was just and the stuff with, what's the city where the dragons are at? That was
Marine. Yeah, I love that this episode literally was fire and ice.
Yes.
I love that. I also loved how many Lord of the Rings parallels there were in that big battle.
Oh yeah.
The fact that here's the not a king whose army is surrounded in almost an identical way.
Yeah.
At the end of Return of the King, and who shows up but the Knights of the Vale? What's the name of the castle out that way? The Eyrie. What kind of animal lives in an eyrie? Eagles. The eagles showed up to save the day.
Oh yeah, I was expecting Gandalf to come around the corner.
Sansa kind of did.
Yeah, and fucking Littlefinger, like, so fucking cool. That entire episode was just epic in every way imaginable.
And and it ended perfectly.
And Reckon, and that's kind of lost, I think, a lot some people, is that, he was their little brother, and the way he just played John like a fucking fiddle. And he didn't listen to Sansa. Sansa said, he's dead. He's going to play you. And he did. He dragged him out into the middle of the battlefield. And you're just like, the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, what is he doing? Oh, fuck. No. Oh, now he's out there by himself. He's going to die. And then the horses just plow through it. Oh, man. It's so fucking good.
Yeah. And I loved how they stormed Winterfell.
Oh yeah,
they're like, they can't get in there. We don't. They can't get in here. They can't mount a siege. Oh, you forgot. We still have a giant.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was. And then when that banner fell down the wall. This is what I'm talking about. How television, you had 6 seasons now to do that, and it was so fulfilling compared to you see a 2-hour film.
Yeah, I got genuine goosebumps when they rolled down the Stark banner.
Yeah, and I heard that in the next episode it's gonna have the wolf and House Stark on Winterfell instead of the banners, which is totally cool in the intro.
Nice, very nice.
But hey, we ran out of time. We'll probably talk more about it next week, of course, because of the season finale. We'll take a lot of time separate to do that.
We'll do. I think we should do like a quick recap on the show and then do like a season in review.
Yeah, I totally agree. Side episode, totally agree. That would be great. Okay, so to do some housekeeping, go to We Geek Podcast on our Facebook group, like the page, comment, do all that good stuff. Email wegeekpodcast@gmail.com. Add us on Twitter at WeGeekPodcast, at Adam Estep, and at the Logan Witt. I've got a whole bunch of people that have added me recently because of it, so nice. Awesome. And tweet to us. I'm on Twitter a lot more now. And of course, listen to us at 9 o'clock Wednesdays on theend.fm. And we'll see you guys all next week. Captain?